Welcome back, soulmates. In today's episode, we will explore the art of manipulating the sleeve pattern by creating two unique pleated sleeve designs. My name is Ajulam. Thank you for joining me. If this is your first time here, you're welcome. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out any of my future sewing episodes. So let's get started. I'll start by drafting out a simple basic sleeve pattern, and as you can see, I have my pattern paper here. Alright, so this line is just the starting point, and then you need to divide into two. So this is going to be for the front sleeve pattern, and this is going to be for the back sleeve pattern. So after doing that, now you're going to mark out the cap's height. So for this, I'll be making it 2.75. This is going to be for a 4-year-old. Okay, and I have a detailed video on shortcuts to use for any measurement that you want to use, whether sleeve or the body's part. So for this, it is 2.75. so I'll just mark that out and then connect it straight. So after connecting it straight, you're going to need your armhole measurement. So for this age, the armhole measurement is 5 inches. Now remember the formula I said. If you want to draft out the armhole measurement, you're going to divide the shoulder measurement by 2 and then use that as the armhole measurement. So for this, the shoulder measurement is 10, half of that is 5. So I'll be marking that out on this cap's height line. Now remember that 5 is for front and the other 5 is for the back, making it 10 inches. So I'll just place my tape. As you can see, this is 10, and I'm going to mark the point. Okay, so this is very important. So after marking the point, now I am going to connect it to this center point in a triangle way. As you can see, just connect it straight like this, and then you're going to do the same for this other side. So you can see that this is very easy. After connecting, now you determine or you get the midpoint. So from here to here, you're going to place your tape to know what you have and then get the midpoint. Mine is 6, the midpoint is there. So for this back side, I'll just go up by 1/4 inch. Okay, but if you're making this for a bigger kid, just go up by 1/2 inch. Okay, so after doing this, now I'll just connect it to come back or to meet up to this point. I'll come over to the front and also repeat the same. Okay, so this is 6, this is the center, that's the midpoint. For the front, I will just come down. You know, this one I marked upward. So for the front, you're going to come down. So this is 1/4 inch, and then we'll just connect it that way. Okay, and then for the back side, you just take it to meet up to this end. You can see that I have a very simple sleeve pattern. Then you come over to this area and then mark whatever you're using. For me, it is 8 inches, and then you're going to mark that and connect it straight. Now you can see that my pattern is ready. Now I'm going to alter this now to create the first sleeve design, which is going to be pleated. Alright, so let me just quickly cut this out first and then we continue. You can see that my sleeve pattern is ready. So I'll alter this one first to create a little gather on this area, but this is optional. If you want, you can also leave your sleeve as it is. So I'm going to alter this now. The first thing I'm going to do is to decide how I want the ruffles to be. If you want to have a lot of ruffles, all you need to do is to divide what you have by 5 or 4. But this, I will just come over to this cap's height and divide what I have on each by 2. So from this point to this center point, it is 5. So I'll just divide it by 2, which is here, and then I'll repeat the same on this other side as well. This is 5, half of it. Okay, I will just connect it straight to this upside, and then I'll also take it down, but not totally to this end point, because I will just slash it through and then end it here. I'll repeat the same on this side. If you want more ruffles, you can just go ahead and also divide this into 2 and connect and then slash it open. So I'll just go with what I have here. So I'll now cut it open and then spread it. Use my paper tape to create the ruffles on this part before we now move on the real part. Okay, that is the part that we're going to be pleating to place on the shoulder area. So this is what I have. I will just open it up a little, okay, and then this part is very easy. You just connect it and then cut out the new shape. So I'll be using the new pattern now to create the pleat. So I'll be taking this one at a time. I'll just cut this one out first and then we continue. So here you can see my new pattern. By the time I will gather this place, I will end up having the initial measurement that I have here. So I'm going to keep this now and then check what I have from this point to this other end. This is what we're going to be using now to create the pleat. So I'll place my tape this way just to check what I have on that, on this point. Okay, so I have 11.5. Since I have 11.5, you can decide to multiply by 2 or 3 depending on how you want your plate to be. If you want your plate to be plenty, you're going to multiply by more than 2, but for this I'll just multiply by 2. So I have 11.5. If you multiply that by 2, that is 23 inches. So I'll keep this aside and then place my new pattern now. This is how it should be. So on this end, you can see this end here. I'll place my ruler here in a slanted manner and then mark out the 23 inches, which is what we're going to be using to pleat. After marking it out, you decide what to use as the width of your plate. Okay, so for this 2 inches is okay for me for this edge. All right, so I'll just place my ruler, okay, in a slant manner. You know, this part is not straight, it's just a little slanted. So you're going to place your ruler that same way, as you can see, and then mark whatever you want to use. So this is 23 inches. So I'll just mark that point there and then connect it straight to meet up to this end. Okay, so this is the line. So this is the line, you can see this is 23 inches here. So now you decide the width. I'll be making this 2 inches. Okay, so I'll just mark 2 inches and then connect. So I'll now follow the line now and mark 2 inches all the way down until I get to the hem part of my sleeve. Okay, so this is 2 inches. After marking, you also connect. Okay, so this is what we're going to use now to create the pleat for the first sleeve design. So we're going to continue that way. As you can see, just keep on marking and then you connect as well as you're marking. Okay, then when you get to this part that you're already close to this hem area, you just place your ruler as it is, or better still, you can just mark 1 inch from this hem part, or say 1.5 inch from this hem part, and then connect it to that point. Okay, now this is what I have. I'll be cutting it out now using this same shape that I have here. So I'll just cut like this. Okay, when I get to this end, I'll continue this way and then cut it out. Then I'll be cutting out my lining using the same method. I'll just use this same pattern to cut out on my lining. Now if you want to make this, you're going to be using same fabric for your lining, so that by the time you pleat, your lining will not be visible. So if you use the same fabric and also pleat, it will look very clean. So I'll go ahead and cut now, then we can sew so we can start the second sleeve design. Here my sleeve is ready. As you can see, this is what you should have at the end of the day. So I'm going to gather this part first. Remember that I'll be adding ruffles to this place, so I'll just gather it separately, and I'll repeat the same for this other one that is going to be for the lining. Remember I said you're going to be using the same fabric as your lining, so that you end up having a very clean work. So after gathering it separately, I will now place it together as it is now, and then I will start from this hemline, use my sewing allowance and stitch it all the way down. Getting to this end, you just arrange this as it is. So when you stitch and get up to this end, you're going to follow it that way and stitch it all the way down. Then you're going to close up this part. Then we'll have only this part open. This is where we're going to be turning everything inside out. So let me just quickly do this and then turn it inside out and give it a good press before adding the pleats now that is going to be on this one. After sewing it, this is what I have. Remember I said that you need to gather these parts first before sewing all this. So this is what I have. So on this part that is open, I'll just turn it inside out from here and then give it a good press before pleating this part. So let me just quickly turn this and then give it a good press and then show you what I have before we start the second sleeve design. Alright, this is what I have. So for this part, you can see mine is very tiny because I want it very small. If you want, you can use 3 to 4 inches depending on what you want to achieve on this area. So this is for a little girl. I want it very small. So this is how it's going to be. I'll go ahead now and pleat, okay, little by little, and then it's going to sit on top of this one. Okay, I'm not giving this a good press, so make sure to give a good press so that it's going to be easy for you to work with. Okay, so this is going to sit like this. Okay, so I'll just keep on folding. You can see what I have here, just like that, until you get to the other end. Okay, so I'll just quickly do that so that we can move on to the second sleeve design. So this is what my sleeve looks like after stitching. Like I said earlier, if you want this part to be longer, all you need to do is to increase it. For this I use 2 inches including the sewing allowance, so you can use 3 to 4 inches so that you will have extra on this part. But I'm okay with what I have here because this is for a little girl. All right, so this is what I have. For the second design, I'll be showing us that one in another video. So that is it for today. Please subscribe if you have not, and I'll see you all in my next